Dear child, you don't open easily anymore. Not because you are cold, not because you don't care, but because you learned that opening can hurt. You learned how quickly joy can be interrupted, how quickly people can change, how quickly plans can fall apart. So you became careful. You started checking the room before you relaxed. You started reading between lines before you believed the words. You started keeping parts of yourself quiet, protected, hidden. And I don't blame you. I have been with you in the moments that taught you that. I saw what you lost. I saw what you carried alone. I saw what you didn't say because you didn't want to be too much. My child, you were never too much for me, and you never will be. I know the phrase you heard today, or the thought that kept returning, "Open me." I have a surprise for you, and maybe something in you smiled, just for a second, and then the guard rose back up, because your mind said, "Don't fall for it. Don't get excited. Don't expect." Beloved, you have been living like disappointment is the rule, and joy is the exception, and that has been exhausting. So let me sit with you here, not to lecture you, not to rush you, but to speak to the part of you that forgot you are allowed to receive goodness. My child, I am not asking you to force yourself open. I am inviting you to feel safe enough to soften, because there is a difference between being open and being unprotected. You don't have to throw your heart into the world without wisdom, but you also don't have to keep it locked away as if love will always punish you. Come closer. Let this be gentle. Let this be quiet. Let this be a fireside moment where nothing is demanded of you. Just a warm presence, a steady voice, a hand on your shoulder that doesn't push. My child, when I say open me, I am not speaking about effort. I am speaking about trust. Not perfect trust, not instant trust. Just enough to turn your face toward me instead of away. Just enough to stop bracing for bad news every time something good appears. And the surprise I have for you, listen, it is not a trick. It is not something that will shame you. It is not something that will demand you become someone else. It is not something that will make you feel small or foolish. It is something that fits you, because I know you. I know your limits. I know what you've survived. I know what you're still healing from. I know what kind of gentleness your heart can hold right now. Some surprises are loud. Some surprises are overwhelming. Some surprises feel like pressure even when they're good. But what I bring to you, my child, is not the kind of good that makes you anxious. It is the kind of good that settles you, the kind of good that restores your sense of self. Because here is what you've forgotten in all your trying and striving and surviving. You are not only a person who needs a breakthrough, you are a person who needs to remember you are loved without suspense. Beloved, some of your fear is not about the future. It's about the pattern you've learned. That pattern that says, something good happens, so something bad must be coming next. So even when you smile, you're watching the edge of the room for the moment it changes. Even when you rest, you're listening for the sound of trouble. Even when you're given something, you're wondering what it will cost you. My child, that is not peace. That is vigilance, and you have been vigilant for too long. I want to give you a different experience of love. Love that doesn't come with a hidden fee. Love that doesn't bait you with sweetness and then punish you for tasting it. Love that doesn't say, you can have this only if you never struggle again. My child, I am not that kind of father. I do not play with your heart. I do not mock your hope. I do not take pleasure in watching you reach and then pulling away. I am steady. So when I say, open me, I have a surprise for you. I am speaking like a father speaking to a child who has been hiding behind a door for too long. Not because the child is wrong, but because the child is tired. And the father says, sweetheart, you don't have to stay in there. You don't have to be alone. Come out. There's something for you. Beloved, you have been behind that inner door, smiling when you can, holding it together, doing what needs to be done. But inside, you've been waiting for permission to be cared for. Here it is, my child. You are allowed to be cared for. Now let me tell you what the surprise is. The surprise is not only an outcome, not only a change in circumstances, not only something you can point to and say, finally. The surprise is this: you are more loved than your pain has convinced you. You are more held than your loneliness has suggested. You are more seen than your silence has proven. You are more protected than your fear can calculate. And, listen carefully, you are still you. Even after everything. Even after the heartbreak. Even after the disappointment. Even after the seasons that tried to erase your softness. My child, you are still tender. Not always on the surface, but in the deep places you still care. You still want to love. You still want to believe. You still want your life to feel meaningful. That is not weakness. That is proof I have been keeping your heart alive. Because there were times you could have become hard. There were times you could have stopped feeling. There were times you could have decided, it's safer to be numb. But you didn't fully go numb, did you? You tried. You tried to shut the window. You tried to close the curtains. You tried to lock the door so nothing could reach you. But still, some part of you kept listening for me. Some part of you kept hoping there might be warmth again. Beloved, that part of you is wise, and I want to honor it. Now, I will use one picture to help you feel what I'm saying. Imagine you are holding a small box. Not big, not heavy, just something you could hold in your hands. And on it there are no flashy promises, just a simple note. For you, my child, you have been suspicious of. For you, because you've had to earn so much. You've had to prove you're worthy of attention. Prove you're worthy of being chosen. Prove you're worthy of being included. But I am not handing you a box you have to earn. I am handing you a reminder, a gentle returning, a truth you can open slowly. You are not an afterthought. You are not someone I get to when everything else is done. You are not second on my list. My child, you are close to my heart. And what I give you is not leftover. It is intentional. Now I know there is a voice in you that immediately argues. It says, if I were that loved, why would I have suffered? My child, suffering is not proof that you are unloved. Suffering is part of living in a world where people break things, where timing is imperfect, where hearts are complicated, where loss happens. But love, my love, is what stayed with you in the suffering. It is what kept you from disappearing. It is what kept you breathing on the nights you didn't want to. It is what kept a small ember alive inside you when everything felt dark. Beloved, I don't call your pain small. I don't minimize it. I don't tell you to get over it. I sit with you in it. And then, little by little, I lead you out of what tried to swallow you. So when I say, open me, I am saying, open the part of you that has been closed to gentleness. Open the part of you that has been closed to being helped. Open the part of you that has been closed to being surprised by goodness again. My child, you are allowed to be surprised by goodness again. You are allowed to laugh without suspicion. You are allowed to enjoy something without immediately wondering how it will be taken away. You are allowed to receive without apologizing. That is part of your healing. Now listen, there's something else I want to restore in you, your sense of identity. Because waiting and disappointment have been whispering lies about who you are. They've been saying, you're overlooked, you're not chosen, you're not important. You're always the one who gives. You're always the one who loses. My child, those are not my words. I have never called you overlooked. I have never called you unimportant. I have never measured you by how quickly your life improves. I call you mine. And mine means you belong even when you're messy. You belong even when you're tired. You belong even when you're confused. You belong even when your faith feels small. Beloved, you don't have to become radiant to be held. You can be quiet. You can be tender. You can be in process. And still, you are deeply loved. Now, the surprise I have for you also includes something practical, not as a demand but as a gentle gift, clarity. Because part of what has exhausted you is not only pain, it is confusion. You've been carrying questions you can't resolve. You've been replaying conversations. You've been second-guessing choices. You've been wondering if you're doing life wrong. My child, you are not doing life wrong. You are learning. And learning takes time. But I am bringing a clearer sense of what is yours and what is not yours to carry. I am bringing a clearer sense of what deserves your energy and what drains you. I am bringing a clearer sense of what you need and what you've been pretending you don't need. This clarity is part of the surprise, because clarity is kindness. It is the kindness of not being lost inside your own mind. Beloved, you deserve that kindness. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what if I open and nothing happens? My child, I understand that fear. So let me tell you the truth in a way you can hold. Opening is not an instant event. It is a softening, a slow turning, a willingness to stop fighting every good thing that tries to reach you. And I will not rush you. If all you can do today is open 1 inch, that is enough. Because I can reach you through 1 inch. I can warm you through 1 inch. I can remind you through 1 inch. You don't need to throw the door wide to be met by me. Just stop locking it from the inside. Beloved, you have been locking it because you were afraid that if you opened, you would be hurt again. But my child, I am not the one who wounded you. I am the one who has been healing you in the background while you were trying to survive. And I am still healing you now. So let me speak to your nervous system, to your body, to the places in you that flinch at happiness, because happiness used to be followed by loss. My child, you are safe with me, not because life has no surprises, but because you are not alone in any surprise, not in joy, not in grief, not in change. I will be with you in all of it, and that is why you can open without terror, because you are held. Now listen closely, my child. Sometimes the greatest surprise is not what arrives, it is what leaves. The constant heaviness, the tightness in your chest, the shame that clings, the feeling that you're always behind. Sometimes the surprise is how light you feel when you stop carrying what never belonged to you. And I am teaching you to put burdens down without guilt, because guilt has been another lock on your door. It says, if you rest, you're lazy. If you say no, you're selfish. If you need help, you're weak. My child, that is not truth. Rest is not laziness. Boundaries are not cruelty. Needing help is not failure. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to be cared for. You are allowed to receive surprise goodness without paying for it with exhaustion. Beloved, I want to give you a new expectation, not the fragile kind that breaks easily, but the steady kind that says, love will meet me. Not always in the form I predict, not always on the schedule I demand, but love will meet me, because my Father is present, because my Father is kind, because my Father does not leave me to figure life out alone. Now, as we come near the end, I want to lower the volume even more, because you don't need a loud voice, you need a safe one. So come closer, my child. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders soften. Let your eyes rest, even if they're open. And hear me like a whisper near a warm fire. Open me, not with performance, not with pressure, just with honesty. I'm tired. I'm scared. I want to believe. I don't know how. Beloved, that honesty is opening. And the surprise I have for you is not waiting for you to become fearless. It is waiting for you to simply be here with me. Because when you are here with me, you begin to remember who you are. You begin to remember you are not alone. You begin to remember you are allowed to be loved without bracing. So breathe in, my child, slowly, and breathe out, as if you're setting down one heavy thought for tonight. Just one. And as you exhale, let this settle into your chest with calm assurance. I am here. I am with you. You don't have to lock your heart to stay safe. You can soften. You can open, little by little, and I will be gentle with every inch. Stay with me. Rest with me. And receive, not a dramatic declaration, not a loud demand, but a quiet surprise of love that remains. Amen. Beloved family, this ministry is built on faith, dedication, and prayer. We remain committed to sharing these messages with sincerity. If you feel led to stand with us, you will find the support link in the description and in the comment box below. May the Lord bless you always.